Producers, if you want your first placement or even more, this video is for you. My team's behind billions of streams, plaques, and a few Grammys. I'm giving you the exact placement pipeline and the daily inputs to make your first real placement or more inevitable. If you're inconsistent, click away. This video is not for you. If you're serious and you want to learn, lock in with landing major releases today comes from work done many months ago. That's why it is key that we get this down today so that you can reap the benefits 6 to 12 months from now. On average, 5 to 10% of what my team has worked on has seen the light of day. With over 400 records and counting, that means we've worked on over 8,000 songs. It got to the point where I stopped keeping them on my phone because it was too painful. Here's where everything begins. Step number 1, goals set the direction for the work you're about to do. In other words, a ship doesn't know which way to sail until it knows its port. This is crucial and the most important part of the conversation we're going to have today. Someone without a clear vision moves a lot but makes little progress. Does that sound familiar? It probably will to most. Intention drives direction and focus. One of the major bottlenecks I have encountered when signing and helping producers is they vaguely understand what they want to accomplish, meaning that it's in their head, but they've never fleshed it out. And so what tends to happen is at the top of the year, somebody will spend 30 to 60 minutes writing down very basic goals. And that means less than 1% of the year is spent understanding what you want and how you might get there. And this is the biggest driving factor of mediocrity in life and in products. So here's one of the most classic goals that I see people set. I will land 1 placement this year. With who? Are they signed? Independent? What genre are they in? Where do they live? Number 1, instead of saying I will land a placement, a better way to say it would be I will secure a credited contribution, production, co-production, a mix, a loop placement on 1 release track with artist by date. I will do this by building working relationships with producer 1, producer 2, producer 3, and ideally executive producer, operating from their studios in location and working for free under team member to add immediate value and get more opportunity. That is a way more impactful way to write down what you want to accomplish. And not only have you said what you want to accomplish, you've given yourself a guidepost. This takes a dream and turns it into not only a goal, but clear action items. This is specific. So say exactly what you want, no fluff. Get more placements means nothing. And why it matters is because clarity kills hesitation, and now your brain knows what to execute. The next is measurable. Attach a number so you can track progress and know if you won. If it can't be measured, it can't be managed. And why this matters is measurement creates feedback loops. How many DMs and emails are you sending to producers, engineers, managers, A&Rs, label heads, you name it? How often are you posting content? How many minutes are you working on content and posting it? Are you tagging artists or producers or A&Rs or label heads? How many introductions did you work towards? You want to make sure you're tracking this. So that is a part of measurable. The third is achievable. So you want to make sure your goal is ambitious but realistic with your current resources and constraints. Now, why does this matter? Impossible goals create quitters. Achievable ones build momentum and skill. I'll give you an example. If you just started producing 6 months in saying, I will work with Drake within 1 year, it's possible, but also you set yourself up for failure in a lot of ways because you don't know anybody. It's most likely going to be impossible for you to get a song with Drake 6 months in. Happy to be wrong, and I hope somebody does, but we want to make sure we're realistic, because if you don't achieve that goal within the time period you gave yourself, that's when you're going to want to quit or get demotivated or break your consistency cycle and not want to achieve anything. An example of this would be block 3 hours a day for outreach, book your travel to the places that they are at, list 100 contacts, producers, engineers, A&Rs, studio managers, artists in the orbit. And so if you are not able to get to 100 contacts, it's either that you're too early, you're not ambitious enough, or you're doing a horrible job DMing people. And if you are, check out this video right here. I show you how to cold DM people using 4 very impactful methods that are not obnoxious, scammy, or unfair to the other individual. The next part of the SMART goal system is relevance. So this is tied to your real priority, not ego or distractions. Relevance prevents you from winning the wrong game. An example of this could be making $500 a month from sound kits, but as you dug deeper, realizing that you actually only care to work with specific artists. And so it was nice to make that $500, but it actually had nothing to do with what you want to accomplish in the music industry. Now, I don't know very many people who would hate to make money, but there are many people that work on things that actually have nothing tied to their real goals. Working with artists drives credibility, proof, and deal flow for my brands. The more records you get, the more placements that you can post, the more people will recognize you, and you'll slowly but surely build into your brand, which will allow you to work with other artists, other producers, and create more opportunities for you. And the last is time bound. So set a deadline. Parkinson's law is real. Work expands to fill the time allowed. And here's why it matters. With the more time somebody gives themselves, the more they will try to perfect what they're working on until they lose interest in it and they move on to the next thing. So if you know you only have a specific window of time to work on something, you will make it as best as you can within that time frame. You will put it out. And through doing this exercise consistently, you will actually get significantly better. And that means that with each time you post, it'll be more and more refined, and that will set you on the right path. And so what I have here is a 100-day sprint. So you would start it on one day and you'd end it 100 days later. And some examples of what you could do to land more records is week 1, do the research of the artist you want to work with. Who is their executive producer? Who is their main producer and collaborators? Who is the recording engineer? Who's the assistant engineer? What's the label they're signed to? Who's the manager? Who's the tour manager? Who's the day-to-day manager? Week 2 could be posting consistently, tagging some of these people and trying to get their attention. Most people have an awareness issue, meaning that nobody knows you exist, and you're probably good enough or talented enough, but it doesn't matter if no one knows you exist. Week 4 could be reach out. So after you've posted, maybe some of them have liked it, maybe some of them followed you. Now you can really start to reach out more aggressively to different A&Rs, producers, engineers, label assistants, etc. to build into your Rolodex. If you're early, you can assume that most people won't get back to you. But if you have a good and professional Instagram, a decent amount of mutual followers, most likely people will give you the opportunity. And then it's up to you to make sure you make the most of that relationship. Week 8 could be booking flights after you've identified everybody, you've posted consistently, you've done a ton of reach out, you've built your Rolodex. Now it could make sense to let all of those people know you'll be in that city for X amount of days. In my opinion, the real work begins because half of those people will probably flake on you, speaking from experience. Week 12 to 14 could ideally be you having unreleased songs with them. Now, whether or not they will come out is going to heavily rely on how close the connection is, how many records you got with them, where they're at. Did they just put out an album last month? Are they prepping an album? Is it clearing up? Did they just put out a single? There's a lot of different factors you have to consider, but it is completely reasonable to have songs with a specific artist within 12 to 14 weeks if you really attack it. If you do this every quarter with several artists, your Rolodex of people you know will grow faster than it ever has. Your content will be very consistent. People will react and engage with it the way that you would like. And most importantly, people will respect you if they see you in person. That being said, if flying is completely out of the books, it's not possible, then doing everything else minus flying there will still get you incredibly far. I talked about Kiri in the last video, but he co-executive produced this Russ album you see over here, and all of that was made from different locations. They actually hadn't met until the album was done, which I think is very cool and speaks to how incredible the internet is in today's era. Step 2 is Instagram will be your main funnel / point of contact 99% of the time. That means you need to clean up your Instagram and post often, because no post equals not serious. Number 2 is following too many people signals you're not important to many. If you follow 10,000 people and only 1,000 people follow you, you're going to have very low response rates. And people are going to think to themselves, oh, well, 9 out of 10 people don't follow this guy. Why should I? So that's really going to hurt you. And I promise you, they do matter. People do judge a book by its cover. It is what it is. Get over it. Then you need to pick a day and a time weekly to create your content and post. And the last piece of step number 2 is brand building. That equals learning how to be comfortable acting yourself online. Meeting you in real life should be similar to how you act online and vice versa. It's very easy to be yourself. It's very difficult to put a front online. Step number 3, post content every single week for 6 to 12 months straight. No excuse. Reason number 1, nobody knows you exist in the music industry. That's your bottleneck. Reason number 2, think long term with content. I talk about this in my last video. You should really go watch it. Posting weekly compounds attention. 2 videos a week with only 500 views a video for a year straight is 104,000 views. If you just assume that 1% of people who saw those videos were important, that's over 1,000 important people who saw your content over a year. And what would happen if 3 important people saw your content every single day for an entire year? More opportunities, more follow backs, more DMs, more records, more opportunity, right? So that's why we need to get over not wanting to post content. You need to post. The last reason of step 3 is talent in making music is not the solution. If it was, everyone would have made it by now. I'm sure you know plenty of talented people. Step number 4, resilience and consistency. Reason number 1, you want to keep a list of your L's. Hear me out. You're going to notice patterns and you'll be able to turn those into fixes. So if you go into 10 studio sessions and 9 out of 10 artists say there's too many sounds or there's too much going on, you know you need to simplify your beats. Or if you go into the studio and people say you talk too much, you know you need to shut your trap. Reason number 2 is celebrate wins, big and small. So positive replies, people adding you back on Instagram, DMs, you name it. It really does matter, because if you don't celebrate them now, you will not celebrate later and reward the hard work. Plus, as you deal with these ups and downs of the music industry, you're going to have a lot of bad days. So it's very important to celebrate these, not be satisfied with it, but to appreciate what you have done so far. And the last reason of step 4, which is the most important, daily routine. Even on off days, when it's boring, that's a good sign. Success is fun. What it takes to get there is extremely boring and tedious. People have to embrace boredom. Fun you get of posting a placement on a Thursday night at 9 p.m. as the song comes out, generally not matched with the amount of work it took to get there. Step number 5 is don't fumble the relationships that you build. So when you start with step 1 of your goals, trying to build these relationships, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they will not use the relationships they build over time. You need to go through your contacts every single week and send ideas to people every day, every other day, to keep top of mind, to show people you're serious, and to build relationships so that when they're working on a project, maybe you send them the exact idea they need. Maybe they want you to work on an idea they have. Maybe they want you to fly to the studio. Maybe they want you to come to the studio. You don't know, but you have to remember that people forget you exist. The world is noisier than ever. So that's your way to stay at the top of the quote unquote leaderboards with people, aka their text messages, and to be thought of. Reason number 2 in step 5 is make a list of every contact you have in music and categorize them by role. So think A&Rs, producers, artists, engineers, you name it. Change their contact to have it in the title or the company, so that when you type in A&R or engineer or producer, you see a list of all these people and you go, oh, that's right, let me make sure I'm sending to these people, or this guy got a new phone number. You just want to stay on top of the relationships that you build just as much as trying to build new ones. And the last reason, which I covered a little bit, is these must be maintained on a weekly and monthly basis to keep things moving along. You have to remember, artists are busy. It's going to be on you to show your level of interest and keep things going. Now, here are some bonuses. Being reliable equals trust, and you'll be given more shots over time. So deliver files every time, the stems, the BPM, the key, the versions, with clean links that are not going to die 2 weeks later. And make sure you deliver files to people within 1 hour of being asked. It's so important. Bonus number 2, meet deadlines religiously and adjust timelines before you miss. So just communicate to people that if you're not going to make a certain deadline, hey, I got to move it 1 day. Here's why. Is that okay? You don't want to be seen as unreliable and a poor communicator. Bonus number 3, track every project you're working on so that you don't let things fall through the cracks. Early on, it'll seem impossible to forget about things. As you are getting busier, you will forget, because it'll just be a lot to manage all at once. And the last piece, I see a lot of people fall victim to this. Share credit on socials. It buys goodwill, and people dislike ego. I know you don't want to tag 1 million people in a story post, but make sure you're not taking all the credit for a song or all the credit for something, because if other people worked on it, they're going to see that. It's going to annoy them. And if they do that, let them do that. But don't be the guy that kills off a lot of relationships, because the next time they have an opportunity or a studio session, there's a really high likelihood they won't invite you, because they're like, oh, last time this guy took all the credit for this thing we did together. Don't be that guy. It's not worth it. And people really don't care that much anyways. If you get a placement, you're already doing a near impossible thing. So congratulations to that. I don't believe in gatekeeping information. That being said, if you want one-on-one help, you want to understand my implementation, how I've been able to successfully sign and scale many producers, and even to this day, just help lots of other producers, join Producer Union. DM me Producer Union on Instagram. If it makes sense to work together, I'm happy to take you on. If you are new to producing, do not join Producer Union. It's not for you. I'm looking for people that have been producing for a little while, really need some help, want some clarity, and are ready to get to work. That being said, it is not free whatsoever. So if you don't have a stable income, I would advise you stay away and get a job so you can stabilize your income and invest in yourself. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.